Hi everyone, good day, especially to Dr. Plasda G. de la Vega. I am Michael M. Bautista and my report is all about school-based management. So what is the school-based management or SBM? It is a strategy to improve education by decentralization of decision-making authority to schools about the budget, personnel, and the curriculum to create more effective learning environments for children. So, decentralization is the process of giving the authority of how is the decision made from the division level or from the regional level to the school level. So now the school itself is the one accountable for the decision making on how the budget is managed, on how are the personnel is being employed or their tasks on and how they perform their duties, and the curriculum, the teaching and the learning process. It can create more effective learning environment because we all know that the school itself know what is good, what is the problem, and how can they adjust to it, what resources they have to provide a learning environment for the children and to attain the learning goals. Here are the advantages of school-based management. School-based management allow competent individuals in the school to make decisions that will improve learning. So, as the decision making has been passed to the school level, the personnel of the school who has capable of decision making can enhance his critical thinking skills to apply this to apply his knowledge in the decision making on the betterment of the school community. So it gives the entire school community a voice in key decision. Yes, all of the person in the school, the principal, the teachers, the parents, the pupils, they have created partnerships with each other so that each decisions or each opinion can be honored and respect. Next, it focused accountability for decisions. Now, the accountability for decision has been passed to the school level. They are the one who is accountable to what is or how the activities has been done in the school. So it lead to greater creativity in the design of the programs. Yes, because the school personnel of the school personnel knows what resources they have, what they can use, what is their skills, what are their capabilities to design programs which is fitted to them. So it redirects resources to support the goals developed in each school. So it led to realistic budgeting as parents and teachers become more aware of the school's financial status, spending limitations, and the cost of its program. Yes. Now the parents are informed on how and where the budget or the money will be spent and what is the purpose of that. Last, it improves the moral of teachers and nurture new leadership at all levels. Yes. Because knowing that the teachers are accountable in the school management, so they know to itself to do good as always, and it can now enhance their leadership, just like um, they can work as a co-supervisor or of the school. The Department of Education create a system of subcomponents that will support the school-based management. So the first one is the policy and the planning system. Under this subcomponent, it aims to enhance or develop the structures, the processes, and the tools associated with policy or the planning system at the schools, division, and regional levels. The second one is the participatory mechanism in education governance. So this subcomponent is dedicated to identify the existing participatory mechanism in education governance at the school, division, and the region level. So later, I will discuss more about this. The third one is the human resource development of education management. So this subcomponent focuses on developing and piloting the appropriate regional organizational structure to ensure that the divisions actually support the implementation of school-based management. This is mandated by the Education Act of 2001. In order to help the regions perform this function, these subcomponents has developed the technical assistance mechanism that will systemize the provision of professional help and guidance by the region and the division, and by the division in the school. So later, I will give an example about this. The fourth one is the quality assurance and accountability system. So this subcomponent offers a mechanism for ensuring quality in the critical system, processes, outputs, and outcome of Department of Education at various management levels to bring about improved learning outcomes, to continue school improvement, and the better technical and management services. It is supported by the interlocking processes of monitoring and evaluation, which is systematically provide educators timely information which is useful for planning and for making decisions and adjustments. The fifth subcomponent is the programs to improve access. So this focus to establish the appropriate mechanism that will increase the number of effective initiatives undertaken by the region, division, or the school to improve access. The approach is to determine and pilot appropriate support options for basic education. It specifically aims to pilot test numbers of effective initiatives directly undertaken by the target access schools and community learning centers to improve access. Develop and pilot test support systems or mechanisms at the division level to render direct technical assistance support to the target access schools and the community learning centers. To develop and pilot test support system or mechanism at the region to facilitate policy compliance, effective programs delivery, and ensure quality assurance and accountabilities. The last subcomponent is the Unified Information System. So the Regional Unified Information System is the ICT-enabled support to the process information requirements of school-based management, TND and LRMDS. It aims to strengthen information management at the target regions and division to enable data-driven decision-making and provide a venue for connecting people to people and people to knowledge they need to effectively respond and create new and relevant information. Specifically, it aims to streamline and efficiently render the collection and processing of education data from the schools and field offices. And it also institutionalizes quality assurance and M&E processes at every level of the education management system. And last, it supports information requirements of school-based management, the planning and policy formulation at all levels. The unified information system shall consist of integrated databases, automated processes, and technologies that are to be implemented on enhanced organizational structures and improve workflow processes at the target division and regions. Consistent with the overall strategy of building on existing dependent systems and structures, the solution system aims to establish effective linkages with currently functional systems. Now, here are the roles of the school board, the superintendent, and the district office in the school-based management. The school board continues to establish a clear and unifying vision and set broad policies for the district and the school. School-based management does not change the legal governance system of schools, and school boards do not give up authority by sharing authority. So, the board's role changes little in conversion to school-based management. The superintendent and his or her district office staff facilitate the decision made at the school level and provide technical assistance When a school has difficulty translating the district's vision into high-quality programs. Developing student and staff performance standards and evaluating the schools are also the responsibility of the district staff. The district office will generally continue to recruit potential employees, screen job applicants, and maintain information on qualified applicants from which the schools feel fit their vacancies. The district office may also specify curricular goals, objectives, and expected outcomes while leaving it up to the schools to determine the methods for producing the desired results. Some districts leave the choice of instructional materials to schools, whereas others may require schools to use common texts. Just like us teachers, when we applied ourselves in the Department of Education, the district office is the one who assists us on the things needed to be done or needed to accomplish. They are also the one who manage our interview and demo. Now let's talk about how the budget decision made in school-based management. At the old times, in most school-based management systems, each school is given a lump sum that the school can spend as it sees to fit, as outlined by Joan Spear 1983. The district office determines the total funds needed by the whole district, determines the district-wide costs, such as the cost of central administration and transportation, and allocates the remaining funds to the individual schools. The allocation to each school is determined by a formula that takes into account the number and type of students at that school. So each school determines how to spend the lump sum allocated by the district in such areas as personnel, equipment, supplies, and maintenance. In some districts, surplus funds can be carried over to the next year or be shifted to a program that needs more funds. In this way, long-range planning and efficiency are encouraged. But in the past decades, the government of the Philippines made a law on school-based management grant. The grant is the funding facility authorized to be used by the schools in school-based management operations. It also known as the School-Based Management Support and Installation Fund or the School-Based Management Grant. Now let me give you an example of School-Based Management Grant. This is a DO, the Department Order number 55 series of 2011, which name as the Guidelines on School-Based Management Grant. So it states that to fast-track the attainment of the education for all and the Millennium Development Goal targets by 2015, the Department of Education DepEd through the Basic Education Sector Reform Agenda shall continue providing the school-based management grants to public elementary and secondary schools. Funds for this purpose will come from the fiscal year 2011 General Appropriation Act and the support to the Philippine Basic Education Reform or SPEAR. So the eligible elementary and secondary schools shall be entitled to receive this grant, subject to the enclosed guidelines on the availment, release, utilization, and liquidation of the SBM grant. So how are decisions made at the school level? So most districts create school management councils at each school that include the principal, representatives of parents and teachers, and in some cases, other citizens, support staff, and at the secondary level, the students. Since there is a council, the council conducts a needs of assessment and develops a plan of action that includes statements of goals and measurable objectives, which is consistent with the school board policies. In some districts, the management council makes most school-level decisions. In other districts, the council advises the principal, who then makes the decision. In both cases, the principal has a large role in the decision-making process, either as part of a team or as the final decision maker. So what is necessary when implementing the school-based management? From the beginning, the school board and the superintendent must be supportive of the school-based management. They must trust the principals and councils to determine how to implement the district's goals at the individual school. It is important to have a written agreement that specifies the roles and responsibilities of the school board, the superintendent, and the district office, the principal, and the school-based management council. The agreement should explicitly state the standard against which each school will be held accountable. Just like what James Guthrie said on 1986, he said that each school should produce an annual performance and planning report covering how well the school is meeting its goals, how it deploys its resources, and what plans it has for the future. So, training in such areas in decision making, problem solving, and group dynamics is necessary for all participating staff and community members, especially in the early years of implementation. To meet the new challenge of this job, principals may need additional training in leadership skills. Now, here is the revised school-based management. So, its main goal is to improve school performance and student achievement. And its specific objectives are empower the school heads to lead their teachers and students through reforms which lead to higher learning outcome. Bring the resources, including the funds, down to the control of schools to spark change in line with decentralization. To strengthen partnerships with communities as well as the local government units to invest time, money, and efforts in making the school a better place to learn. And last, to integrate school management and instructional reform. This is the value of the school-based management, the revised one. It carry out reforms in the curriculum, the new curriculum, the K-12 curriculum. It assimilate the school to the system and way of life of the local community, and it redirect all efforts to support improvement of learning outcomes. And here is the review of the old school-based management, which have 6 dimensions. This 6 dimension is also an indicator of the level of practice of a school-based management, which is used in the assessment tool, as the assessment tool. So, the first dimension is the school leadership, which is assessed by the school head, assistant of the school head, the master teacher, and the department head. The next is the internal stakeholders, which is assessed by the parents association, parents representative, teacher association, chair, head of student council. The third one is the external stakeholders, which is assessed by the parent association, parent representative, the LGU, the barangay representative, the SGC chairman or the representative chairman of other active groups. So next is number 4, school improvement process, which is assessed by the school head, the parent association, the teacher association, the head of student council. The fifth dimension is the school-based resources, which is assessed by the school head, person in charge of the school funds, the SGC chair, or the representative of the PTCA, and the LGU. The last one is the school performance accountability, which is assessed by the school head, the parent association representative, the teacher association, the head of the student council, the SGC chair, and the LGU or the barangay. So why there's a revise? What went wrong? On the old school-based management, there are unrealistic targets and inappropriate strategies in the school improvement plan of many of the schools visited. Another, they are too much focused on the school improvement plan template, which is usually interpreted as a one-size-fits-all form that overlooks the unique condition of their schools, the students they are providing learning environment for, and the peculiar issues they are confronting. Another, there are more schools with school report cards or SRCs rather than school improvement plan, which reflects a disconnect of these two school-based management processes. So the school-based management assessment process was reduced to bean counting that overemphasized the collection of prescribed documentation, the compliance to some of which may not be within the control of the schools and are not reflective of a functional system of good practices. Department of Education reports that 100% of school heads in many divisions had been oriented on school-based management, but their practical understanding of the concept is not apparent. So here are the rationale for the revised school-based management. The revised school-based management better highlight the children or the learner as the center of the school-based management practice. It encompasses the diverse realities of learning context defined and uniquely occurring within specific geographic, social, cultural, economic, political, and environmental makeup of the contemporary society. It also enhanced commitment of education stakeholders and all levels to their responsibilities and accountabilities in realizing the education outcomes for children. It further promotes shared governance between the school and the community. It integrates accreditation into school-based management for a seamless assessment of a school system. And last, it improved the school system's capacity to be on track in achieving the education for all and or the Millennium Development Goal and sustain good performance. Now here it is, the revised four dimension of the school-based management. This system is guided by the Access 4 principle. The first one is the leadership and governance, which is a network of leadership that provides the vision and the direction to education system, making it relevant and responsive to the context of diverse communities. The second one is the curriculum and learning. So, this is the learning system which is collaboratively developed and continuously improved, anchored on the community and learners' context and aspirations. The third principle is accountability for continuous improvement. It is a clear, transparent, inclusive, and responsive accountability system in place collaboratively developed by community stakeholders which monitor actual and expected performance, continuously addresses the gaps, and ensures a venue for feedback and readiness. The last principle is management and resources. So this system has the resources are collectively and judiciously mobilized and managed with transparency, effectiveness, and efficiency. This is the school-based management conceptual framework, a framework which is a system-oriented. It presents the envisioned product of SBM and the inputs and processes needed to come up with the product. The envisioned product is a functionally literate citizen. So, Republic Act 9155 defines the citizen as one who is self-reliant, productive, and patriotic. In addition, the Constitution mandates that the citizen should be science and technology oriented. The output is a result of an interactive and collective problem-solving process that continuously raises the level of school-based management practice until it culminates in the accreditation of the school. The process is enhanced and facilitated by a self-managing, self-renewing learning community that assumes responsibility for basic education of all types of learners. The context of school-based management is the school learning community itself to which the learner belongs. An intensive situational analysis of factors that impact learning is done to develop an educational plan that is responsive to contextual issues, problems, challenges, threats, and opportunities. The boundary of the system indicated by the broken line denotes openness to inputs from the, from the external environment, as well as a resistance to change that may injure the systemic integrity and stability. So, School must allow the framework to continuously morph and develop on the basis of the experience to meet the emerging needs of the learning community. The CO, RO, and the DO provide the technical, professional, and administrative support and also oversee the policies which are being observed, standards are being met, and programs are being implemented. Since the revised SBM is based on the access framework, let's talk about it. Access is defined as a child or a learner and community-centered education systems, which is a framework that provides equal emphasis of the supply and the demand side of education to enforce the development of a community-based accountability system as well as engender the sharing of responsibility education service delivery. It is both a product and a process. As a product, it is the ultimate outcome of the communities or the barangays working together to protect the right of every child for quality education and better life. As a process, it is an approach to effectively decentralize and bring to reality the mainstreaming of education as a tool for human development and total community transformation. So these are the features of the access framework. It is child-centered. It is learning focused, developmental stage appropriate, gender and culture sensitive, environmentally safe, accessible regardless of gender, race, culture, social and economic status. It is also community centered in a way that it has shared vision and mission, shared decision making and governance. It has collaboration, community ownership, autonomy, and accountability and transparency. So, access is a framework that advances the philosophy of shared governance of education, and it ensures a strong culture of effective leadership and management in the provision of basic education. Now let's talk about the application of the subcomponents of school-based management based on these policy guidelines on the utilization of school-based management assessment tool with contextualized means of verification. This is a regional order from Malcolm S. Garma, a regional director of DepEd Region 1, which is dated on April 11, 2019. So, on the section 4 of the policy is the rules and regulations. So, this is how the assessment done in school-based management. Let me read it into you. A. Guides and instructions. So the school heads, the DF TOTS, the RF TOTS shall strictly adhere to the prescribed guides and scoring instructions in the SBM assessment tool for the school-based management level of practice. So number one, the four principles or the dimensions were assigned percentage weights on the basis of their relative importance to the aim of school, to improve learning outcomes and school operation. So for leadership and governance, the weight is 30%. For curriculum and learning, the weight is also 30%. For accountability and continuous improvement, the weight is 25%. And for the management of resources, the weight is 15%. So, two, each principle has several indicators. Based on the results of the DOD or the document analysis observation discussion, summarize the evidence and arrive at a consensus on the rating that will be given to each indicator. Number three, rate the items by ticking the appropriate circles. These are points earned by the schools for the specific criteria. The rating scale is 0. It means no means of verification. SBM level 1, means of verifications indicate early or preliminary stage of implementation. SBM level 2, means of verification indicate planned practices, and procedures are fully implemented. SBM Level 3 indicates means of verifications, practice, and procedures satisfy quality standards. So the the procedure is count the number of check marks in each criterion and record in the appropriate circle in the summary table for the area or the standard rated. Then multiply the number of check marks in each column by the points 1, 2, 3. Get the average rating for the principal by dividing the total score by the number of indicators of the principal. 7. Record the average ratings for the principal in the summary table for the computation of the general average. 8. Multiply the rating for each principal by its percentage weight to get the weighted average rating. So here is an example computation. So compute the scores by principal following the formula below. The total score divided by the points times the weighted percentage allotted to each principal. Number of indicators. For example, Principle 1, Leadership and Governance. The total score is 9. The number of indicators is 5. So, 9 divided by 5 is 1.8 times 0.30 is equal to 0.54 points earned for leadership and governance. So, to get the total rating for the four principal, get the sum of all weighted ratings. The value derived is the score rating based on DOD. Next, the level of practice will be computed based on the criteria below. 60% based on the improvement of learning outcomes. In the absence of not, disregard the 60%. 40% according to the validated 40% is according to the validated practices using the MOBs and the DOD. 11. The final scoring criteria as described in item 10 will be used after the operational tryout. Number 12. All schools shall conduct self-assessment to be strictly checked and monitored by the DFTATs or the Division Coordinating Team. The DFTATs shall strictly monitor the self-assessment of all public elementary and secondary schools ready for the RFTATs or the regional coordinating team and central office validation. The RFTATs or the regional SBM coordinating team shall strictly check and validate the assessment of the DFTATs. In the absence of the SBM PASBE, all schools assessed as Level 3 after the thorough validation will receive Certificate of Recognition from the regional office led by the Field Technical Assistance Division. The Central Office VHROD, School Effective Division, may monitor and assess the SBM level of practice of any schools in the region, which is inconsistent with the mandate of School Effectiveness Division for Central Office Policy Enhancement or creation of new policy along SBM. So here are the description of SBM levels of practice. Level 1, developing, it means developing structures and mechanisms with acceptable level and extent of community participation and impact on the learning outcomes. Level 2, maturing, introducing and sustaining the continuous improvement process that integrates wider community participation and improves significantly performance and learning outcomes. And the level 3 is the advanced or the accredited level. It ensures the production of intended outputs or outcomes and meeting all standards of a system fully integrated in the local community and is self-renewing and self-sustaining. So here is the sample of the school-based management assessment tool. So this is the principle or the dimension. This is the criterion. and this is the indicator. Column 2 is for 1, column 3 is for 2, and column 4 is for 3. So this is the checklist and on how is school-based management being assessed. Now let us discuss the legal basis of school-based management. This is the last portion or last part of my report. So here are the legal bases of school-based management. First one, the 1987 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines, which in Article 2, Section 17 state that the state shall give priority to education, science and technology, arts, culture and sports, to foster patriotism and nationalism, accelerate social progress, and promote total human liberation and development. Also, in Article 14, Section 1, the state shall protect and promote the rights of all citizens to quality education at all levels and shall take appropriate steps to make such education accessible to all. Next is the Local Government Code of the Philippines or the Republic Act 7160. In Section 2, it states that the state shall provide for a more responsive and accountable local government structures instituted through a system of decentralization whereby local government units shall be given more powers, authority, responsibilities, and resources. The process of decentralization shall proceed from the national government to the local government units. The third, the Governance of Basic Education Act, Republic Act 9155. In Section 2, it states that it is hereby declared the policy of the state to protect and promote the right of all citizens to quality basic education and to make such education accessible to all by providing all Filipino children a free and compulsory education in the elementary level and free education in the high school level. Such education shall also include alternative learning system for out-of-school youth and adult learners. It shall be the goal of the basic education to provide them with the skills, knowledge, and values they need to become caring, self-reliant, productive, and patriotic citizens. The fourth one is the BESRA, the Basic Education Sector Reform Agenda. The school-based management is a component of a STRIVE, which is response to BESRA Key Reform Trust Number 1, which is enabling and empowering school stakeholders to manage its own affairs for improved delivery of educational services in a sustainable manner. The fourth one is the School First Initiative, or SFI. It is a flagship program of the Department of Education that attempts to significantly enhance our efforts at improving the quality of education in our country. So, its objective is to improve the quality of education, especially the outcomes in the country, based on three performance indicators: participation, completion, and achievement as a reform package. School First has three components, which are enhancement of learning, more resource for learning, and focus organizations for learning. The last one is the Medium-Term Philippine Development Plan 2004-2010. This acknowledged that schools should be seen as the focus and the locus of educational development. It listed promotion of school-based management as one of the key strategies to improve the management of operations of the public school system and deliver quality basic education. It pushed the school system to adopt various strategies to attain quality education in the country, as it greatly supports the decentralization of management of the public school system. So these are the legal basis of school-based management. So I have here a summary. Let me read it to you. School-based management strengthened the support systems of DepEd, three regional offices, selected divisions, and schools for school-based management through improved educational planning and development of a functional management support system. School and district staff must be given administrative training, but also must learn how to adjust to new roles and channels of communication. Financial support must be provided to make training and time for regular staff meetings available. The central office administrators must transfer authority to principals, and principals in turn must share this authority with teachers and parents. And the last, successful school-based management must be aware of high expectations. I forgot to tell that the performance-based bonus is also based on the school-based management assessment. So here is, for the last part of my report, let me read to you a study of Jocelyn C. Cogtas about the school-based management practices and teacher productivity in public elementary school in Davao City. So it is said that the teacher productivity in terms of teaching learning process, student outcomes, community involvement, and professional growth was rated very high. There was a significant relationship between school-based management practices and teacher productivity, which implied that good school-based management practices contributed to increase in teachers' productivity. Moreover, study revealed that the level of school-based management practices and teacher productivity indicated very high. Further, leadership and governance and curriculum and instruction were the indicators that significantly influenced the best predicted teacher productivity. So this study implies that effective school-based management has a good impact to the teacher's productivity. So here are the reference of my report. So thank you and God bless. I hope you learned something from me. Bye.